Recording live from count them, 3 locations.
This is Past the Rock.
I am Patrick, and as always, I'm joined by 2 great men. Jacob, a.k.a. Bethke.
Delivering the promise, wearing the kurta, very subtle, very simple. Nice little thin collar, nice little button down. This one's long sleeve, optional. You got
a button holder.
Button to it. Oh, blessed.
I don't hate that. And of course, we're always joined by Caesar, a.k.a. LCs.
What's up, y'all? I've just finished taking hours of notes on how to make cocaine from the Clipse today.
Beautiful.
Whip it in the glass, naysayer. So we're gonna start this week with a little pop culture talk, I guess. We did get the highly anticipated, long-awaited new album from Pusha T and No Malice.
That actually was a question. Is he back to Malice for just the album? I don't know when the last No Malice.
All the Genius annotations say Malice, and he's been in there touching that up. So I'm gonna.
Yeah, he's definitely dropped the No. And
so I think it's just when he's by himself. Because was he No Malice on the Kanye album?
He was. I think so. But like
the song he did on the Jesus is King album.
I think he dropped Being a Pastor too. That's why he went by No Malice.
Right, yeah, he gave himself to the Lord, and then he was No Malice, and so now they're back.
Now he gave himself to the dope game, and we're back.
A lot of
Malice,
this, I mean, he did sound like Malice. There was a lot of Malice on this. There's a great tweet about how they're named opposite.
He's on Jesus is King. You sure about that?
Yeah,
it says featuring Clipse.
Right, it is featuring Clipse. You're right. Yeah. Oh well. So yeah, they got back together at that point, I think, for the first time in however long, and then it kind of set this up. And then obviously, I think this probably got delayed because of Kanye at some point. We don't have to go into that because he doesn't really matter on the album. But I do think that probably held this up because then, how long was Jesus is King? How long ago was that?
Jesus Christ.
I want to say 2018, 2019? No, 2021 maybe?
2019.
Yeah, so
2019, yeah.
I think this probably started there again somehow, and then just took a while, and then I think the falling out between the two of them, falling out between the two of them, the schizophrenic black hole that Kanye has gone into over the past 5 years, especially, I think, have led to this. But it ended up being really nice. Have Pharrell back and leading the charge since the early days.
Not the Neptunes, just Pharrell, which is
the Neptunes are dead. The Neptunes are dead. And Pharrell killed it.
Pharrell's own beef. Pharrell's beef, Push's beef. Drake is involved in this. Kendrick Lamar is obviously back in the part of this as well.
And Tyler's cashing a check on it.
I think Tyler had a very interesting thing to say in one part of that, but that song was just a weird one.
I don't know who he's referencing.
Playboy Carti.
I know that was the rumor, but
Playboy Carti is his idol?
That. There was
not his idol. The one who's suing him.
There's a rumor that Playboy Carti is suing him, but there's no confirmation. And the only people from what I've seen, the only people who said it aren't trustworthy sources on it. But
I don't know.
I was thinking the idol thing.
It's the only name we've gotten out, so.
Felt like
I don't have no idea.
Yeah, the idol thing just felt like an easy one because there's a lot of them. No, well, it's like Kanye's gone crazy.
Sorry,
Diddy's a fucking super criminal. Like what's a great producer of hip? Dr. Dre's a woman beater. Like they're all got a pretty nasty record for all the legends. Like it's not. I think Tyler's definitely molded himself after a lot of the beat maker rapper combo guys.
Yeah, and then you look at like his idol Pharrell, you're like, all right,
yeah, Pharrell's kind of the last one, but he's a
scumbag when it comes to money. I mean, you can ask Kellis, and now you can ask.
He's an old school business prick. Like as off the court, it seems to be a decent enough person, I guess, but in the business, he's a dickhead.
So what you're saying is Tyler is the Wood Harris or Avon Barksdale.
I mean, at this point,
Pharrell's doing his Stringer Bell stuff over here.
I don't even think it's that serious, although that obviously The Wire was referenced at least 6 more times in this album.
Thinking of the line where Avon's like, I ain't a businessman like you. I'm just a gangster, I suppose.
I mean, to some extent, yeah, I guess. You know, I think that Pharrell is just a little...
Tyler's openly told everyone he knows he looks like Wood Harris and would tell people he was Wood Harris.
That's true. I mean, that's just because it's funny. Because he's also a celebrity that for a long time was like not uber famous, but pretty famous, especially with younger kids.
I mean, yeah, internet famous, absolutely.
And then now he's a pretty just super famous person.
I would not have picked him to have matured the way he did, both lyrically, production, musically, like I don't just overall in general. I thought
when you hear his musical influences, I'm like, okay, this progression in his career makes more sense than
just the execution. The execution's really high from where I would have thought it would be.
Just kept working at it. The song he's on, though, if you don't like it, I still think is great Coke rap lore. I think that both Malice and Pusha T add a lot to the Coke rap lore, which is, again, kind of what the Clipse album is. It's like, this is basically, we've seen this a lot, too. There's a song with Stove God Cooks, FICO.
Mm-hmm. I like Stove God Cooks.
That's really, like, I like to call it, like the movie Heat, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like how it's just this really fun thriller and you're on the bad guy's side the whole time. Doesn't matter, right? That's kind of what I feel. Or like, I think actually the movie that started all of this, Scarface, right?
Which I think nowadays I think more people have come around to. It's maybe not as great, but definitely was the prototype for this kind of
it's an influential storytelling tool. And so I think the Clipse are huge pioneers in Coke rap. I think that's like, and again, I don't think if this is an introduction to anyone who doesn't understand what this kind of genre of hip hop is, it's just very simply like storytelling through Coke. You have Rick Ross, who's kind of been known for not doing it. You have Jay-Z, who famously did it fairly in detail for the first couple albums, and then went very mainstream. And then there's some reflection and stuff there. But nowadays, there's like the Griselda gang, who basically it's just a bunch of guys kind of Coke rapping, and it just sounds like what if Tony Soprano and fucking what's his name in Scarface again? Tony Montana. If all of those guys just could rap really well, you know what I mean? Al Capone can just rap really well. That's basically what the genre is.
I really appreciated the first two tracks. I don't think mentioned cocaine at all, and the first one obviously is very emotional. It's the one they went and did on whatever late night show they were on about Clipse, about Push's mom and Malice's dad.
So they're brothers, and so they're parents.
They're actually brothers.
They're actually brothers. Malice is the older brother. Yeah.
Okay,
Terrence and.
When I was sitting there and I was like, man, they sound so similar.
They look very similar.
I guess I've never seen them.
Tiny Desk was amazing. That was the only way I'd heard it is I watched Tiny Desk when it dropped. And I just wanted to get to the end where they did grinding on the table, and of course they did. Because like if you were in high school, like even my butt fuck ass school, kids, because grinding was on every video game too, right? Like, grinding, what to keep in the line, and I can't really go to the next bar for reasons, but
I don't think I've ever heard it, if I'm being honest.
So yeah, but grinding you could just do on the. I don't want to fuck it up on the table. But yeah, so grinding is a very familiar beat. Pharrell would have produced that.
Yeah,
and then it would have still been a big part of video game lore. So like if you were in high school when that dropped, it would have been a big deal. But then it was a big part of like the first wave of like sports video games too. So then I think a bunch of the generation after that also kind of picked up the Clipse and Pharrell that way.
But yeah, I did think that first song is really, really cool. But I will say, and I guess the question, this might be a little chicken and egg, because you listen to that first track and it's like, okay, this could easily be a track that Kanye West made. So does Pusha, I mean, obviously Pharrell's producing, but it seems Pusha and Kanye have some very similar vibes of what they're going for just in their music in general.
Yeah, that's why I said I think it wouldn't be surprising if Kanye initially was the executive producer, and maybe this isn't his production.
That one sounds like something he wrote or like put together.
So I thought the first two songs, the first one sounded like a continuation of Daytona, and I thought the second one sounded like a Pharrell and Pusha picking up from when they were back in My Name Is My Name. And I don't know if that's intentional or not. I think the reason that Birds Don't Sing starts this thing is because it's so much different than what you have.
Yeah, and it's a good, like I said, it's a good one for them. Like they went and did it on some late night show. That one could break through because it's got a better message than Cocaine. I'm actually already seeing some interesting things about it. It's one of the sadder hip hop songs you'll ever hear for sure. I would say Ason Jones by Raekwon is pretty sad whenever
Old Dirty Bastard died. Can't Stop This by The Roots for Jay Dilla.
P. Diddy Missing You.
P. Diddy Missing You has lost a little bit of the punch over the time. And it was actually before this, too, because, we've recently also learned that he may not have gotten Biggie killed in all of his rambunctiousness, either by choice or by
Follow the money.
Yeah. So, it's I'm sure there's, whatever songs you want to decipher from 808s and Heartbreaks that are about the girl or about the mom. That's kind of hard to tell nowadays. That album was kind of a mixed bag where it was like sad because his mother died, but sounds mostly like it's about relationships. So I don't know if there's one that's necessarily to that level. Probably some other good ones I'm missing.
There's all the manic schizophrenia, it's all coming together.
That's when it starts for sure, unfortunately. But yeah, Birds Don't Sing was a really good one to start with, because obviously the rest of the album sort of just gets to play out the way it should at that point.
I thought it was fine. I'm not here to bash it in any way, but for me, what I'm going to go back and listen to is mostly like those last 3 or 4 songs. Once Inglorious Bastards hits and the rest, I thought it really took a step forward, and it's awesome. The rest of it, maybe it's just because it's like these guys are so known and I'm not surprised by what they're doing, No,
I hear you. I will say one last thing on the Kanye thing, just because it would crack me up. Ace Trumpets, Pusha T says the famous now meme, yellow diamonds look like pee-pee. And I just want to say, maybe Push also did ghostwrite some of the cringier Kanye-isms from earlier albums. We usually thought that was Kanye.
But here's the thing,
I thought those were always Kanye. You could always trust it. Oh, no, Kanye definitely did that one. Now I'm starting to look at Push and be like, oh, maybe Push is capable of some of these.
He's like,
but here's the thing.
I'm not going to.
I don't think there's anybody else in the rap game who could say that line, and you're like, yeah, it's a line, but if anybody's gonna get away with it, it's you.
Maybe Tyler, just because
I don't think so.
Because Tyler also is a funny rap guy. So
how did we feel about?
But Tyler's more way more cartoonishly outlandish than Diamonds Look Like Pee-pee.
Diamonds Look Like Pee-pee is pretty crazy. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm glad everyone's having fun with it. What about the Bezos of the nasals?
There are some good.
That's incredible bar. That's an incredible bar.
Cocainisms in there.
That's an incredible bar.
It's not to say that Malice really does kill this entire thing too. So that's kind of the fun part.
You know what it felt like hearing Malice on this? It felt like you had that 6th man on the bench that's just been waiting to get in the game. Comes in, scores 20 points, changes the flow of everything. You're like, God damn, you forgot how good this guy is.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree.
I guess my last question for you on this, Beth Key, since Nas is your guy, is how you felt about the Nas feature.
I love it. It's very old head Nas, but that's why I love Nas's trajectory, because he's just like, at this point he could make up a bunch of bullshit. Instead, he's just like, you have to keep up chronologically with Nas to actually know what he's talking about now, because he's just like, he's literally like talking about how he got Grammy nominated again as like a 50-year-old or whatever. For whatever the last trio of albums, I forgot which one, ended up doing really well. And so he's just basically talking about how he basically is just doing victory laps. Like, he's just absolutely just doing victory laps at this point. He's just reminding that even Jay-Z, that it's like, Jay-Z may be the court of public opinion, but if you're like following the canon, Nas is still sort of just undisputed the GOAT at this point. Like, even Rakim would say that. Rakim gets shouted out by Kendrick early.
He's the chief of staff instead of the president.
Yeah, at this point, I think if you're like a rapper's rapper, everybody knows it's just Nas. So yeah, I would say it's very funny, but it does feel like Zeus rapping about about the world, where it's like kind of just like not relatable at all anymore to an extent, but it's not necessarily about just rich dude stuff. There was a bit of that. I believe there was some Bentleys and stuff getting thrown around, but ultimately I just thought it was that. By the Grace of God, the final song sounds exactly like No Malice album. So if you ever wanted to try a No Malice album, that's pretty much what all of them sounded like. I mean, it's Pharrell, so there's a little bit more on it. So far ahead,
the Pharrell singing stuff on this one. Usually I'm a big fan, but on this album I felt like
it can be back and
especially
forth.
in that on the first track, I think that's him singing, right? That's
Yeah.
one where I'm like,
no.
Kanye,
John Legend is also
okay.
John Legend's a part of that, but there
So
was
maybe I
also
didn't
like
like
a
the John
backing
Legend
group
feature.
to John Legend.
It felt like Kanye would have found a better voice for it. Not that it's a bad voice, but to fit the song.
Well, probably also would have been just John Legend.
Let me make sure I'm looking at the right song here.
There was also a gospel song towards the end, So Far Ahead, that I thought was pretty good. I think it had Pusha T's best line of the whole album. If I was Brittany Griner, I'm gonna need Obama. Only one to swap is Chapo. I don't say that as much as well as it sounded live, but I was respecting that because everyone got mad that Brittany Griner got traded for the Merchant of Death. So for Pusha T to basically, this is also a Trump diss.
Oh, no, it's the
Trump subtweet here because you got said if I was Brittany Griner, I'm gonna need Obama.
Oh, yeah.
Only one to swap is Chapo. It rhymes better when he did it, but
yeah, Chapo.
But he did. But it was a little subtweet. It was, it was fun.
It's
nice.
the Pharrell part on Chains and Whips that I don't like.
Yeah, Chains and Whips is a very Pharrell song.
It didn't feel like what he was singing fit with what was happening in the rest of the song, and it took me out of it. The Kendrick feature is good. It's just standard Kendrick at this point, right?
And that's exactly what Kendrick is.
Thing.
Just Nas 20 years ago right now. This is just what they really are on the same trajectory in a lot of ways, in a funny way. He's just the West Coast Nas, I guess, at this point. So it's more important for him to have California in the West than it is just to be rap god.
And then we'll do a little shift here, me and Bethke at least. I don't know if Caesar went and did this experience, but there's a new Superman out there.
Oh, I did.
Yes, that makes it better that we can all at least understand it.
You mean SuperWoke?
Sure. I'm just glad that the people I know who might say those kind of things just don't bother with me at this point to say those things to me, so I don't have to have the conversation of like, okay, let me teach you about what Superman is.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't even think it was really that bad. It was just a very, I would say, the most comic book accurate movie I've ever seen.
Yeah, this is a comic book movie, like exactly. So if you like comic book movies, this is what you want.
Didn't hold hands.
I just know that the people that would not like this movie because it's about Superman just being Superman, which is a kind guy who helps people,
better. He's
love the
oral.
Snyders.
No, he's moral oral. Don't just say that he's nice. Don't just say that he's good-hearted. He is obnoxiously good-hearted.
Oh yeah, no, he's a dork.
He's earnest. Yeah,
he's an earnest dork from Smallville, Kansas. Like that's what Superman has always been. And then Zack Snyder comes in here. He's like, "What if we made him dark and brooding and morally conflicted?"
That's what happens. School shooter Superman is what happens if the Superman comes now. If that little spaceship is launched in Kansas circa 2025, you can bet your sweet ass that's school shooter Superman.
They can't make it in this universe, but if they wanted to do like an off-universe thing like they're doing with the Batman, and they wanted to adapt the Superman Red Sun where he lands in Soviet Russia instead, that'll give you some fun.
Well, I really do think that they're turned off of the Injustice version. I think Injustice is what's most popular because of the video games, the comic run.
Yeah, the evil Superman thing is played out, man. Like it is, at least from what I've seen in comic circles, people are done with this version. That's a version of Superman. Rather.
The good thing about what Gunn has at least said so far is like he's allowing the Batman to keep existing, the Penguin to keep existing in an alternate universe, not in like a multiverse sense.
So it's an
unconnected.
Elseworld sort of is how the kids
and I'm glad because that version of Batman feels there's so much untapped potential,
and it would definitely not fit in with this version of Superman.
No, not at all.
Which I think was maybe the point a little bit is to kind of just squat, and I still see a lot of it. I mean, if you go on Twitter right now, it's just full of fan fiction with Pat and fucking Superman.
Which they could. I mean, they have the whole pocket universe thing they're already working with.
Right.
So at any point, they can break that glass. But
I just think, spoiler alert, the only reason that James Gunn and Matt Reeves are talking to each other and like keeping this thing going is because it's great for the fan service of it. I think they're both writing independent universes that are not ever set to clash as long as
they should.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They've seen what's happened with Marvel where they've kind of like screwed themselves. I mean, they make a bunch of money, but they've screwed themselves writing wise in terms of trying to make everything fit together and connect.
If we're going to look at the way they're both shot and presented, right? You look at the Batman, it is beyond grounded. Like there is nothing superhuman, even esque about Robert Pattinson's portrayal of Batman. He is really just a guy because he gets tired, he gets his ass kicked. He's very slow to figure out the mystery of what's happening around him. If you really want to
flesh out Gotham is meant to be sort of like The Wire. It's supposed to be this really introspective look
its own character,
and corruption and everything, right?
Yeah. So that's a very, grounded version. Some might say that Christopher Nolan was. I would argue that it's actually a little bit more comic booky than
the first two were definitely more grounded. The third one starts to get a little.
I would say Matt Reeves is also not super grounded either. I would just say that it's a gritty, realistic world. I think that he actually did a smart job,
and that's not.
No, but he did low key put make Batman a little more OP than. So that's okay. But we like that. We like when you do that.
Are you talking about Matt Reeves did that? Because it didn't feel that way.
He should have blown up too. What are you talking about? He bomb detonated.
Okay. No, that's what you meant. Because I was thinking, what are you talking about? Like his intellect is not there.
He did introduce mysterious green goo at the end with no explanation that just turned Batman into an actual super soldier.
That's true.
That's not mysterious. For anybody who's peeped it, that might be the thing that makes Bane. Bane. Right.
That's fair.
So. That could be a tease because that might be who we get, and then I don't think that's who we're going to get in the next one. But you could just lay the little crumbs for.
And they're going to take a lot longer with the Batman stuff. It seems like James Gunn.
They just finished writing the script.
James Gunn already announced the sequel to Superman, basically.
Supergirl.
It's not a sequel.
The spinoff.
Well,
it is just another movie in the universe.
Exactly. So
I think it's going to be before. I think most of it's going to be before this movie.
What I'm saying is we may not get Superman 2. I think that James Gunn may be looking at the MCU and saying, hey, there's a lot of great here that we can use. There's a lot of stuff that actually I wouldn't do this way. And if you look at it, the next one is going to be the John Cena one. No,
Peacemaker.
Peacemaker, Lanterns is also part of the. Yeah, right.
With a different Green Lantern than we get in the Superman movie, by the way.
The next movie after Supergirl, then this one's
Lanterns.
This one's the most interesting one because we're seeing DC do a rogues gallery of a Batman villain, Clayface.
Right,
you're gonna get a Clayface movie, which is apparently going to be a body horror. But I'm like, all right, if this is in the new DCU, it's very interesting that they're doing what Sony did, which was. Let's just make villain-centric movies without the hero that villain belongs to.
I don't think it's necessarily going to do that. I think if anything,
it worked for Penguin. I mean, Penguin exists as a show without any. I don't even know if they mentioned Batman.
That's why it's prefaced it with DCU rather than like a Matt Reeves thing. Since this,
I think it's also possible they steal the MCU's method of introducing Spider-Man with Batman. It's a character we all know very, very well. We all know the origin. We all know it's only giving us Miles Morales or Damian Wayne.
Gunn definitely told us before this movie came out, he's like, there's a few things people don't need to see anymore, and it's Superman landing on Earth, the Waynes getting murdered, and Peter Parker getting bit by a spider. We just don't ever need to see that. Maybe
to some extent, yeah, I agree with that, but I do think it's unfortunate because it does rob a lot of people. But at this point, it's just
the beginning of all of those, and then every time they reboot them, it's the beginning of all of those.
Yeah, I think you just have to find new ways to retell stories, and maybe there's faster ways to do it.
I didn't realize
you don't have to lurk on it. Uncle Ben's death is also a big part of that.
I didn't realize the very first thing you see in Watchmen. The 2008 movie is one of them saving the Waynes from being murdered, like during the title.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even know that it was a thing. That's pretty funny.
I think it's Rorschach, right? I can't remember.
Rorschach,
maybe.
One of them's
maybe it was
newspaper.
The jackass one that gets killed. Whatever.
But it's fun. I think it's just, especially just go see it in theaters, is awesome. I didn't love the shots where the camera's right in front of his face while he's flying. That felt weird. Like he was like holding a fucking selfie stick and flying, basically. But overall, I thought it was an incredible theater experience.
100%. I knew the moment when I walked in, or when I was walking into the theater. So it's me, 3 of my buddies are going in, and we're going to the IMAX here in Dallas. So as we're walking in, a crowd is walking out. I guess they had just finished airing the previous one. And there's this guy who looks like your stereotypical Texas Republican from the suburbs. and I'm quoting him verbatim. He's like, it was a fine movie, but they're just overdoing it with whatever the theme was supposed to be. And I'm like, you mean kindness and hope?
But he didn't know what that theme was.
Yeah, but he's like, it's just so in your face about it. I was like, okay, this movie's gonna rock if this is bothering him. And then I was like, all right, was it a little bit on that end? Yes, but it felt like a breath of fresh air, considering everything else going on.
Actually,
it was really nice to see colors in a Superman movie.
And I was watching I think it was like a YouTube short or a YouTube video about why so many hero movies have been muted in color recently.
Christopher Nolan.
Well, no, not even just that, but it usually somebody ties it into the socioeconomic state of the world. So the more colorful it is, the more bleak real life is actually, and then the more muted it is, it's like things are pretty good overall. So we're just going to create this
angsty.
Yeah, we're going to create this. That's what I heard. This was their theory, not my own personal.
I'm going to have to look at some release dates to.
So yeah.
So what I ask you, Patrick, is have you seen all the Guardians of the Galaxy movies?
See.
Yes. Is James Gunn comic book Wes Anderson?
He is. I could definitely see why you'd think that, because there are a lot of vibes across all of them. The jokes all feel the same.
The non-woke part of the criticism to this movie is basically that, from what I've seen.
And yeah, I mean the same with the Suicide Squad movie.
Right.
But I will say, and I mean that's why he is in control of the DC universe now, is the turnaround they did from the first one of those to adding "the" at the beginning and making an infinitely better movie.
And launching it. And realistically, is that not the launching point for the new DCU, whatever?
Some sort of.
I mean, might as well, right?
They're gonna take some stuff from it, but some of that's still connected to the previous universe that they don't want to do. So it's like a
soft reboot.
No. It's a yes and no situation there.
We're just gonna call it a soft reboot of their cinematic universe.
Like Peacemaker season 1 is kind of part of the new DCU, but season 2 100% will be. Is how they're kind of saying it. So
yeah.
And that was a fun tiny little cameo of John Cena in Superman. I enjoyed that.
That was great. I was genuinely caught off guard by that. I was like, what?
And I did not recognize until I looked at the cast after. I recognized, but didn't realize until after I looked at the cast later that was Michael Ian Black playing the main news reporter guy.
I hadn't forgotten his name, but I'm like, I know this guy.
No, not Mad TV.
He was on Mad TV for a little bit.
He's been on a lot of
No, they had a different. What was their sketch thing called?
So Michael Ian Black, besides whatever you guys are talking
love
about,
the '80s and shit too.
Yeah, that's gonna say he's on a bunch of VH1 stuff.
He's part of the State, which was a huge for comedian sketch thing. It was on MTV, and then
that's what it was.
Obviously, the Wet Hot American Summer stuff.
Right. He's a part of that cast.
Yeah, Stella, which I love, but is a little bit less known.
So, yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean. Lois Lane flew a spaceship, basically just was like, I got this.
That I did like, and I like the way that's written where he's like, it's intuitive, and we just move on.
Mr. Terrific, that's probably another way.
He was awesome.
Mr. Terrific was
I don't
really
know anything
fun.
about that character really, because I'm not huge into comics, but
they made him. So basically, they made him more of a whimsical nerd than I think he is traditionally. But I don't know enough about it. But from what I can gather, they kind of made him feel a little bit more like what your modern, confident, kind of nerdy guy would look at.
Yeah, and I think definitely some of it is the right at the beginning where they're just kind of like we said, they don't hit you with origins. Like they're like, hey, metahumans have been here for 300 years. We already meet the Justice Gang kind of formed already. So I think if there was a version of him that wasn't that, it would have.
We do get the Hall of Justice, obviously. That's pretty cool.
It's under construction. I like that.
And you get a teaser of all the old lore, basically all the super meta or the metahumans.
Right. The metahumans that came before them. Now I will say this: Nathan Fillion stole the show for me.
He's incredible.
Yep.
Him as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern, which. I didn't really know too much about that iteration of Green Lantern. And so when I saw it, I was like, why does Green Lantern have a bowl cut? and a dad
James
bod.
Gunn needs comic relief. And
Every
he
time
needs
I
a lot
saw
of it.
him, I was like, "That's not Woody Harrelson. That's not Woody Harrelson."
But he was great. Every
Woody
scene
couldn't be
that
trusted after fucking Carnage.
That's not his fault.
I think
Wow.
every scene that he was in, except what was it? The scene where Superman, the crowd turns on Superman, and they
Right.
they have a private discussion. Outside
Which
of
was
that
good.
one particular
Maybe
scene,
a teaser at a bigger opponent down the line.
yeah, but outside of that one scene where the heroes and Superman are kind of talking about what the hell's going on, Nathan Fillion stole every scene he was in after that.
He's great.
Before and after.
I've always been a big fan. But I want to get to what was supposed to be the meat of this segment, at least here in 1 second. Quick public service announcement for the second time. Brush your teeth, because you end up with a mouth like this if you don't.
Oh, yeah.
This was right before I got 4 teeth extracted.
Are you getting them replaced or no?
I need to probably at some point, but that's a lot more expensive. So we're gonna wait down the line and see. I got to talk to the surgeon about my plan.
Yeah, dog. Oh, you're not the only one. So, programming note for late September, early October. I'm going to Mexico to get my teeth work done.
Ooh, that's a good thought.
Because here's the thing. I went this past Friday to get a filling done. And when they did my x-rays, they did my scans, and like, you need work on all these teeth. I'm like, well, son of a fucking bitch. And they quoted me a price of $6,000, and I said, nope. And thankfully for me, I have an uncle in Mexico who is a dentist. So family discount of sorts. It's still going to be a long journey because we have to drive.
Go
yeah, but he's probably not going to call the creditors on you if you're a little late on a payment. So.
No, and plus I can always just hang over his head. I'm like, hey, you remember how my dad paid for your dental schooling? You didn't pay him back either. Family discount.
Where's he located?
In a tiny town in Mexico. So the state is called Guanajuato, but he lives in a town of like 3,000 people called La Moncada. And I think he works in so he has a clinic there, but he also has a clinic in like the nearest big city, which is called Celaya. And his wife is also a dentist. So I'm like, one of them is going to be working up my teeth, if not both of them. So,
oh wow, that is South Mexico, South Central Mexico, I guess.
Yeah, it's not too far from.
It's a little bit north of Mexico City.
Yeah, it's not too far off from Mexico City.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a long time.
You got to drive there.
Unfortunately, my dad is my dad is doing like this long. I don't know. I guess a pilgrimage is not the right word, but maybe the closest thing. So in his home,
the right word.
So yeah, his town does a pilgrimage from their town to Mexico City every year, because there's a giant cathedral in Mexico City. So they go and do this whole thing. It's supposed to be, spiritual and whatnot. And so he's driving there, and I will be going with him, and I will be flying back to out of Mexico though, because I do not want to stay in that little town for however long it takes him to finish this pilgrimage.
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right.
Sounds interesting though.
Let's get to
for sure.
Let's get to what I think is maybe the most interesting thing we have this week. We'll see. Caesar.
White guys need to voice their opinions on comic book movies. And
you know what the world needs is more white guy podcasts talking about shit. But Caesar did go and do something cool this weekend, and I'd like to give him the floor to tell us more about that.
Word. So the best way. We're starting off with the photo. Okay, so I'm gonna just throw up the video of what I did, and then we're gonna talk about it.
Okay.
I'm gonna hit the footage.
wrestling.
We did some wrestling this past weekend, fellas. I was at AEW's All In at Globe Life. I had floor seats, courtesy of one of my buddies, Vincent.
Oh, dang.
And, let me tell you something. Floor seats, a little overrated. Unless you are at the very fucking front, the view that you get, if you are my height, is a tough one. If as long as everybody's seated, you get a great view. If everybody's standing, you're kind of struggling. But
you're just tapping people on the shoulder at the wrestling event. Mister, can you please sit down? I'm trying to watch the match.
So there's a guy in this other Discord I'm in that he sent out a picture. He was on the floor, and I saw that it's all folding chairs. And I probably should have known that it's all folding chairs, just because that's what they use to beat people up in wrestling sometimes. But in my head, I'm sitting there like, you paid a lot more to sit in a folding chair than you did in. Not that Globe Life has comfy seats, but.
Same when I paid for seats like 20 rows from the stage to the Green Day Smashing Pumpkins, and that's all you get too.
I guess that makes sense because that's the only thing that you can set up unless there's already seating set up there. But
I think it's also like basically the
risers.
Dude, actually, I'll take it one step further. It was the smallest chair I've ever been in. I had to stand the whole time because I physically could not actually be in my chair without disrupting the humans in front or behind me. Like. It was very much a cramped, quartered situation.
That's unfortunate.
They're squeezing folk. I mean, but again, it's a concert, it's a festival, or it's a sporting event. They want you on your feet, right? So there's not a lot of sympathy.
So people get an idea of what it all looked like, not from the floor, but if you didn't have a floor seat and you're looking onto the floor, that's how they had it all sectioned out.
Yeah.
All right.
It's the name for the concert. Well, no. The main is they're coming out through the side entrance through what was that right field?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Right over by okay. So I guess the other side
right
is where they had the concert set up when I was there. That was just actual seating still.
Yeah. Now, just talking about the event. So I was not there from start to finish. The event officially started at 12 p.m. Right. So AEW has a section of the show called the 0 Hour. It's not pay-per-view, so this was free to watch for anybody that wanted to watch on, I believe it was YouTube, if I'm not mistaken.
Nice.
Right?
Oh, damn. I wish I would have known that.
Oh, well, there you go. Now you know for next step, if they come back again anytime soon to do that. Now, I had a scheduling conflict. A good buddy of mine was having a baby shower of sorts at 2 p.m. The pay-per-view officially kicked off at 2 p.m. One was in Allen, the other one is in Arlington. I was committed to both. So I was going about 90-something from Allen to Arlington to try to make it, by around 4 o'clock.
The state troopers don't exist anymore. You're fine.
Oh, yeah. No, I was pretty lucky. I didn't see a single state trooper, a single officer of any kind on the freeway there. I will say though, when I got there,
it's been years since I have.
No, yeah, you should see them. They're all over closer towards I live. But anyway, so I'm racing. I get there, and I'm looking for parking. My go-to lot whenever I'm late to something, I don't remember the name. I think it's the Q lot, the RAV4 Q lot or whatever. It is a lot that you face Cowboy Stadium on one end, and then the new Globe Life on the other end. That shit was closed off. Everything was closed off except my, you know what? Fuck it. I don't mind the walk. It's a nice day out. A lot, which is the esports arena lot.
Nice.
Now, the esports arena lot was only $10. I was shocked. I was flabbergasted.
Yeah, I was surprised it's only $20 for Ranger games. I had no idea I could be parking that close.
Guys, I can get you closer for free.
Now, Becky, I remembered what you had said.
I've done it for 3 years now, 2 years now. I can't remember how long. I've never once had a problem with it.
Where did you park?
There are some businesses that are warehouse based.
We can talk about this off.
Yeah.
Dude. But I'm telling you, it's swear to God.
So here's the thing.
It's really close to
what was going through my mind, right, was I'm running late. The best part of the show is about to start, and I don't know where to park. I was this close to reaching out to you, Bethke. I'm like, I wonder if you can direct me to where I need to go so I can park.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna just put it in the chat. So I got you guys.
But either way, I went to the esports one, and then I did a full ass sprint from the esports lot all the way to the Globe Life, and then as soon as I walked through the doors, had to do another sprint to get to the floor. So I was exhausted, sweaty, and it was worth it because the view that I had was phenomenal. So we were, I believe, our ticket said that we were supposed to be on the T row, which is one of the way back, one of the last rows on the floor seats. My buddy Robert, though, these guys do not settle for their assigned seats. They go and
Where are you relative to this? Can you tell?
Oh no, not
like they're looking at the left field foul pole. They're in.
Oh no, I am probably on the other side, closer to the foul poles.
Okay.
Yeah. So I go up and they find me, and they're like, "Hey, coincidentally, by the grace of all, the sporting gods, there are 3 seats that are next to each other, couple rows up, like actually multiple rows up, that just nobody showed up. So we just hop in, sat there, watched the show. One of my favorite things that I got to see that I can knock off my list is that I've seen West Side Gun perform live.
Nice.
As he was right here performing the theme song for the Hurt Syndicate. His only line that I know is, "We hurt people. We hurt people." But I did hear the boop, 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 boop. Yeah, I got to hear that whole thing going. As far as the production quality goes, you know what? WWE has to run for its money. AEW does not have the same level of money that they can invest into their production. However, everything is well thought out, and a lot of these wrestlers have special entrances that coincide to their character arcs, their story arcs, their matches, and you just saw that, you felt it. The crowd, I was gonna say, at first I was a little disappointed, fellas. I was a little disappointed. I thought it'd be a more ruckus crowd when I got there, but then I remembered most of these guys had been here since like the doors opened. Doors opened at 10 a.m. The first match kicked off at 12. The event ended at 8. That is your whole ass day. It makes sense why you may not be super loud. Now, what was loud was the final 3 matches. But before we get to the final 3 matches, I guess the 4th to last match was the AEW Women's Casino Gauntlet match. Now, all this is a match where 2 competitors start, and then every so often, another competitor comes in, and then another competitor, until one of these competitors gets pinned, and then that person that pinned wins and gets a championship match down the line. This match was won by Dallas's own Athena. Now, I don't know her real name off the top of my head, but she's been in WWE before, and I believe she's from
Adrian Reese.
Adrian Palmer is right here's what Reese.
Married name probably Palmer.
Yeah, Reese is her maiden name, Palmer. So
born in Garland.
There you go. So local as it can get for the DFW. And well, fellas, she has one of the most exciting moves in wrestling. It's a very contrived move, and you'll see why. But it was very exciting to watch her pick up the win in what is effectively her hometown.
Mina is going for the figure 4.
Hey-o.
What?
Mina is
just showing on the end and not the beginning.
Hey-o.
So it is not showing when it's showing me like the last 2 seconds.
Mina is going for the figure 4.
That guy's fucking jacket.
That was wild. That like when I took the clip off from Twitter, it shows me the full move, and now it just skips that whole time. Let me see if it does it again.
Mina is going.
The man is trying to get us.
It skips. Whatever.
Thanks, Grok.
Right?
Yeah,
Thanks.
for real. Mecha Hitler.
Well, anyway.
My tax dollars pay for Mecha Hitler.
I will recommend to all of our
Always have.
viewers at home, please look at Athena's just look up Athena's finishing move on YouTube. It is one of the coolest things you'll ever see. It probably hurts her spine like hell though, so maybe don't do that so often if you want to continue wrestling for a longer time. No. Another amazing moment.
A little swim in the WWE.
She did have a little stint in the WWE. She was underutilized there. And now she's in a great position with AEW and ROH, which are ROH being, I guess, the sister company to AEW at this point.
Sorry, this is a really funny note on her Wikipedia. She's a fan of comic books and the 1960s Batman television series starring Adam West.
Hey, she's got taste.
Most prepared Batman ever.
She loves
what?
Most prepared Batman ever.
Oh yeah,
He had everything.
Bat shark spray.
There was one he had that was like reverses the time, like time space continuum.
No, the best one I think is in the movie when they're in a helicopter, but he has some kind of shark spray.
Yeah, that one's the most. I used to have that one on DVD. R.I.P.
Sorry,
DVDs.
No, you guys are good. So no, but yeah, so we saw that. That was the crowd went absolutely insane for her. It is one of those things. It's a trope in wrestling where the hometown person usually doesn't win in their hometown. It doesn't make sense to me, but it's usually been a trope. In this one, Tony Khan, who is a part owner of the Jaguars, mind you, he's also the head booker for AEW, and he went against the grain and decided we're going to give the hometown hero a well-deserved win. Now, another thing that
say this shit was rigged.
Yeah.
Ain't shit rigged.
Predetermined.
Still
is
real
the
to
best
me,
way to
God
put it.
damn it.
It's still real to me.
Gentlemen, let me see if StreamYard doesn't fuck this one up too. This was one of the more impressive feats of strength that I've seen, where a guy just gets absolutely lifted off his feet and thrown over the top rope.
Rabbit punches from Shelton Benjamin on Mike. Oh my goodness! All right, just throw him off. Hey, I've seen a lot of suplexes. I've done a lot of them. I've done belly-to-bellies to guys over the top. Never seen a German over the top like that.
That was awesome.
I'm glad there was other humans there to break the fall because that.
100%. When you're doing a German suplex where you're just throwing him over, you want somebody there to pick him up and not depend on the guy to not over-rotate as he's getting thrown over. But yeah, that was Shelton Benjamin throwing a guy named Speedball Mike Bailey.
Speedball Mike Bailey? That sounds like a guy that used to fucking play pool at my down in Waco, bro. What do you mean?
Maybe. Who knows?
But
Metallica.
Yeah.
Or a saxophone player.
Or a saxophone player. No, if you look him up, if y'all Google what he looks like, you think this is the most unassuming man in wrestling.
Shelton Benjamin?
No, not Shelton Benjamin. Speedball Mike Bailey. But yeah, you know what? That was so good. We're going to watch it one more time.
Rabbit punches from Shelton Benjamin on Mike. Oh my goodness!
Bailey, donkey punches?
Mike Bailey looks like the villain in an 80s teen movie.
You're not wrong, man. That's kind of his. The Karate Kid is kind of his whole thing.
Speedball Mike Bailey. The guy gets thrown.
The guy who gets thrown over the rope.
All I watched him was to be a ragdoll. It's like asked me to describe well, I guess I could describe the guy from last week because he threw the glasses and the hat and he made a scene or the glove. And he made a scene of himself.
Yeah. Now, there are clips from other matches that I just can't show. For one reason, some of them are pretty gnarly, and some would just get us. I don't even think we're monetized, but if we were monetized, we would definitely get demonetized.
Is this blood sport?
Something like that. So the main event of this was touted as a Texas death match, and if you're familiar with hardcore matches, they make hardcore matches look very tame in comparison because there is blood and there is a lot of just unsightly and hard to watch spots throughout the match. So
this is very vague in a very disturbing way.
Well,
my imagination's too wild for you to be vague like this.
All right. I mean, I can just not make it so vague. So
Just play
in the main event, there's a guy named Hangman Adam Page and his opponent Jon Moxley. They open up the match, brawling. And there's a point where Jon Moxley whips out a fork and goes to stab this man, misses and gets the fork stuck in a turnbuckle, and then Adam Page whips out a fork from his boot. Jon Moxley goes for a double leg takedown, and that was a mistake because Adam Hangman Page just starts stabbing him repeatedly in the head, in his bald ass head with a fork. And this is not for anybody who's like, "Oh, wrestling's fake." Like, yeah, but a lot of the things that they put themselves through is not. For example, we all saw on the giant screen above in real time the blood start to gush out of this man's fucking forehead. Like, there's ways to fake blood in professional wrestling. This was not fake. Yeah.
What if he put like a bald cap over his head?
No,
he
oh my god, dude.
He dragged that shit in there like this. Okay, there's that. If there was a bald cap, you would see it ripped off. No, the guy just.
So Netflix is already working on the documentary on the drugs that are powering these people, right?
Some of them are just crazy. If you look up Jon Moxley's career, he has a history of these types of matches.
This is an addiction problem somewhere along the lines. We can trace the root.
Maybe. But anyway, there are more insane spots that involve barbed wire, bed of nails, broken glass.
The bed of nails looks rough, dude. I mean,
the science behind the bed of nails is it kind of because they're so tightly packed in, it kind of creates a semi-flat surface that doesn't allow for puncture.
Single nail, but
yes. The thought of it is brutal, and I'm sure it still hurts like hell, but not as bad as it could be.
The broken glass looks miserable, though.
That was 100% miserable. There's broken glass. There's
sugar glass.
No,
it could be, but let me tell you, if you watch that fork stab in the head thing, you're not gonna think, oh god.
Yeah. Yeah, this is.
Yeah, I mean.
No, I would say this. I'm usually a big defender of professional wrestling, but even I have my limits to what I can stomach, and this match was really pushing that. However, I guess at the crescendo of the match, when everything was finally starting to wrap up, and you get the big win, I will tell you this: I have not been a part of a crowd that electric, I think, ever. It was deafening when you hear the ref call for the match to be to end as Adam Hangman Page makes Jon Moxley submit, and I won't tell you how he makes him submit, but it's brutal. And the crowd just up on their feet.
Nuts.
No, he lives to the moniker of Hangman, that's for sure. And so
problematic.
It was a very brutal match, guys. And I would say this is not for the faint of heart. I know that there's a lot of people in the audience that probably were uncomfortable with what was going on. But once you get the conclusion, the finale of that match, you didn't see a single person sitting down. You didn't see a single person upset. Everybody was round of applause for all the performers involved because they put themselves through an actual hell for the entertainment of like 30,000 people. Now, I will say this, though. As electrifying as that ending was and as brutal as it was to stomach, the two matches prior to that, though, the crowd was electric in different ways because you saw very much, I guess, classic pro wrestling, just in the ring, no weapons or anything like that. It was just two performers at the height of their powers in regards to the women's match, Mercedes Moné and Toni Storm. These women put on one of the best things I've ever seen with my own two eyes, with some very funny spots. And then my personal favorite, the only reason I went to this event, gentlemen, is two wrestlers who reignited my love for professional wrestling back in 2017 by the names of Kazuchika Okada, Kenny Omega. These two, much older now than they were when they essentially put together what is widely considered one of the greatest wrestling matches ever put together in the history of the medium. I want to call it a sport, but it's not really a sport. But that's besides the point. Either way, I want to see them wrestle in the U.S. for the first time, right, with my own two eyes, live in person. Got to see it Was it their best match? No. They've had 5 matches prior to this one. And, well, no. They had 4 matches prior to this one. This 5th one, not their best, but it was definitely electric. Before these guys touched, gentlemen, before these two guys standing across from the ring, they hadn't done anything yet.
They kissed?
Nope. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would have liked that, but
Globe Life would not allow that to happen.
You'd think that. No, they did. They allowed the women to kiss. And more.
Honestly.
And more.
God likes that.
And then one of the women bit another woman in her hoo-ha, straight up.
He likes that too. Mm-hmm.
Now, before these guys locked up, before they punched each other, they shrugged, before any of that, they're just staring at each other. The entirety of the arena was chanting, "This is awesome," because they knew we're watching a rarity here, and that sealed the deal for me. I was like, this was worth every penny. Everything else that I saw before that was good, great even. This definitely feels like a seismic shift in the wrestling sphere as far as who the better company is right now, which it's AEW right now, and WWE is really lacking.
I love a good behind the scenes on that, all that brutal shit and how they pull that off.
Yeah, man, a lot of that shit, they discussed beforehand, right? And especially with these kinds of matches, I assume that medical staff has to kind of be weighed in on and be like, you can do this, you can't do that. This will definitely kill a guy.
Obviously, a balance of.
I'm not a wrestling expert, but this looks like if we got like Mike and Magic on the court right now and had them do a one-on-one.
Which one are you looking at?
40 other people would run in and out and fight each other on the outside of it.
No, I'm talking about the one he was talking about.
Okada and Omega.
The main event. It definitely feels like the old heads reliving the glory days. This feels like
that was the penultimate main event.
It feels like when I saw Alice Cooper a couple years ago. Like, it was pretty cool. We got to respect the dude for still doing it, but I can't imagine this is what it felt like in the day.
I mean, something like that.
Watch Santana, bros.
Like those guys.
All right, you're old, bro.
Those guys can still go in the ring and still go pretty hard. The thing is, it's just they're both in their 40s. And when they were in Japan,
they were slower and helping each other. It was kind of
guy
sweet.
We saw, I already forgot his name, who threw the other guy over the ropes. That guy's 50.
That's crazy.
Shelton Benjamin? Yeah. Well, Shelton Benjamin is widely regarded as probably one of the most athletic wrestlers ever.
Stacked.
Like, bar none. That kind of guy, like...
Ripped.
Yeah, because he was
of the wrestling world.
And something like that. I mean... you know what? Think of it this way. The way I would describe Shelton Benjamin,
so tall that he almost looks lean, even though he's got a ton of muscle.
Yeah, but you compare LeBron to basketball players, not other.
He looks more like a running back.
Yeah, that's why I mean. This guy looks like a defensive lineman.
No, I was saying this guy looks like more like a running back.
Oh, Shelton Benjamin, 100%.
Or I was thinking like a Ray Rice or a
whoa,
shorter guy. Squat just like a brick ball.
Yeah, listen, Shelton Benjamin is a brick shit house. He is a big fella, but the way that I would just describe him is an explosive athlete with an incredible vertical leap, strength. He's the whole package. The only problem that ever held him back his entire career is that he could not talk on the microphone. Just couldn't do it. Save his life. So he was more of a, I don't know. He was just more of like not a star, but like, what's up?
They didn't try to Milli Vanilla it, just lip sync him.
Nope. There's no shot.
It's just me. It's just me on the mic while he's.
Hi guys.
No.
You're in for an ass whooping today.
Welcome to the death match.
Oh man, you're not too far off. He just not an intimidating voice on that guy. Neither was his tag team partner Bobby Lashley. But if you look up Bobby Lashley, his entire presence is intimidating.
Today is his birthday.
Who?
Bobby Lashley.
It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Bobby Lashley!
Sounds like a backup outfielder for the Texas Rangers.
No, this guy's just a.
Yep, today I heard it. I heard it on 2 different programs today. So
he's
Bobby
a big
Lashley.
deal.
He's a huge man. He's 49 years old, and he is still going strong in professional wrestling. But anyway, yeah, no, that was great. The whole event was great. I will say this:
Just for one day.
no, not, at Globe Life, yes, but AEW had been in Texas all week long. From Wednesday, Thursday, they had an event on Saturday called ROH Supercard of Honor. So they were all over the place. Yeah, so they were all over the place, and they made the most of it, man. They tapped into the DFW market, which loves its professional wrestling. They've always struggled to get people to go to their shows here in DFW, but the ones who do go, loud, rambunctious, and more importantly for the company, they spend a lot of money. Right?
Looked like they were doing well in those clips. It looked like the stadium was pretty damn full.
Yeah, man, they were. I think I saw 30,000 was roughly about what they put in there. Which, when you consider how much of the area the stage takes up, closing that off, right?
Well, and it's that whole L too, because the sound. That's what was the craziest thing about learning how the sound work there is that depending on where the stages are, we thought we were listening to some avant-garde, like crazy ass weird pop opener for the Green Day Pumpkin show, and it was actually just this little girl punk rock group. You just really couldn't hear the music or anything.
Yeah, no, like I was about to get to that,
you
man.
were at the side of the stage.
I'm gonna get to that
because like weird sounds.
The acoustics were terrible for this one, right?
I can see that.
At least from where I was, for example, West Side Gun, whenever they did a live performance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whoever the other guy is on the song.
Live performances can be tough no matter where.
It was tough, but like I had a buddy was watching the show and he's like, "Hey man, is the sound?" He's watching, from his home. It's like, "Is the sound off there in the stadium?" I'm like, "Yeah, it's 100% off." Like the music wise, just felt out of sync. Anytime they were speaking through the speakers,
we get it.
No, honestly, I thought the complete opposite. I really enjoyed the concert there.
Concert experience. Okay.
I don't know if maybe the way that the speakers, there's two stages, which seems like that could be problematic. Whereas the other one was just one stage on left, basically took up the whole left field wall, and two giant boxes on each side of the stage that are sky high and they're just full of speakers, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm seeing there were over 27,000 in attendance, but no solid number.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean there were a few. You could, if you looked around hard enough, at least on the floor, you could see some empty seats. But it makes sense. The floor seats are not exactly the most.
This site's reporting 25,671.
Either way, it was a packed house.
I mean, yeah, that's almost 100. They only had 27,000 seats, basically. So.
Yeah. And they did the most,
obviously,
and they did their best to sell out as many as they could, and I think
it looks like they pretty much did as well.
This was, I believe, this I believe is the most attended live wrestling event not promoted by the WWE ever.
See that?
So hey man, shout out to AEW. That was a great event. Globe Life, not the best place to hold this type of event. I'm gonna say that, and also. Globe Life, what the fuck? You closed concessions too early, man. Too fucking early. Food concessions. And when I got there, they were already like winding down. I'm like, I got there around like 4 something.
That's why I gotta go to the Guy Fieri taco joint inside the.
I've heard nothing good about that taco place.
I thought it was fine. I mean, compared to
everything at Texas Live is pretty
$9 for a shitty hot dog inside the stadium. Those tacos are a great.
I prefer to pay for my $50 meal at Whataburger.
or you could pay for $30 for a boom.
It's nice for $50. I get one small burger and one small fry. It's beautiful.
Actually, I think what I've discovered is the best thing to get is just the nachos. Like you got to sit at a table at Texas Live, but just get their giant plate of nachos right before you go in. That's a pretty good deal.
You can do that for sure.
You're supposed to binge drink at sporting events and the like. You're not supposed to eat there. You're supposed to just
survive off and pay $14 for a single beer.
Because at Texas Live, depending on who's taking care of you, you might get a double Jack and Coke for like $8.
Buying liquor in a stadium is a crazy decision.
Yeah, 100%. Let me show you all the cups from all the games I went to last year that I kept because I'm not getting rid of them. I paid enough for that drink.
Yeah. No,
Jerry World got me crazy.
I can't
one
even
time.
imagine
Jerry
the
World
NFL
is
prices. I kind of
Jerry
refuse,
World is.
I kind of refuse to go to an NFL game at this
Woo!
point.
you know, guys,
You should, just to understand how late stage the capitalism really is, bro.
yeah, I take for granted that I had a family member that was a sous chef for Globe Life Field, and so he would give me food, and the one time that I got to be in the suite for his company, like the company suite, free liquor, free alcohol,
Body shots.
such a
Every
it was a
time
great
Josh
time.
Allen gets a hit.
And then he got
So
fed
we're
up with
sober.
being a sous chef at Globe Life, which I don't blame him.
All right. Well, let's.
But yeah. Gentlemen, you guys have any questions still? Anything?
Oh, sorry.
That's
No.
great Q&A for the event.
Good luck wrestling whoever's the better company. Bring back the WCW.
I'll definitely.
AEW is as close to that.
How
as
often do
possible.
they do stuff like that death match with all the fucking props?
That style of death match, I would say they do maybe twice a year.
Okay, I might tune into some stuff. That's
they do have an event.
tough to watch, but it's cool.
They have an event called AEW Blood and Guts, and that one is exactly what you might think it is. And they, like I said, they hold that about once or twice a year. However, like a Texas death match, like a proper Texas death match, they do that like one time. They save that for the big show. They save that for a big show.
All right. Well, I guess you know what
CTE?
we could do right here is trying to figure out. I didn't expect y'all to have as much on Superman as you did.
It's a great movie.
I'm happy, but yeah.
It was woke.
You know what we'll do here? We'll fit the baseball stuff in right here, and then we'll do the other stuff as the second half. So we'll just do that real quick here because I don't think it'll take as long.
Okay. The Big Dumpy? You want to talk about the Big Dumpy?
Yeah, so obviously it's All-Star week. Not really a weekend because it's Monday, Tuesday. All-Star week. A couple of things about the All-Star game. Going into it, they invited that Brewers rookie who's only pitched in 5 games. Did we talk about this last week? About him?
I don't remember. I don't believe so.
They invited him, and it's a little weird because it's like he's only played in 5 games in his entire career.
Was he a Nepo baby?
No, he's supposed to be really good, and he's looked really good in those 5 games. And it's more baseball's doing the thing that people have been mad they aren't doing, and that's promoting young stars. But it's like, obviously, the All-Star game's a weird bit because it's like there's players have incentives in their contracts and stuff like that. But whatever. Anyways, that was kind of the one story about it going in. Then we got the Home Run Derby. I didn't actually watch any of the Home Run Derby. I'm kind of bored by the event. I like the idea of it, but I don't think I think they killed the format and they're trying to get it back, but it's not quite there.
So you didn't enjoy the Big Dumpy?
I did not see how many home runs he hit.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch it.
I know he won.
I just know that he's the home run guy. His name is the Big Dumpy.
The Big Dumper. Yeah, to the point where they put out a bobblehead that was pretty much just him having a big butt.
Yeah, and then like there's a child's jersey that you can get. It's kind of funny.
I guess I haven't seen that.
If I was a Mariners fan, I would get that for my kid.
Yeah, I mean,
because children shit a lot.
I haven't had to take them too seriously as competition for most of my life, but that is a team that I could see myself being a fan for in another life for sure.
Well, I just meant that notion, like just to have the opportunity, the rare opportunity that my sports team, whether chosen or not, has got a player named the Big Dumpy, and that you can use that then to sell children's jersey onesies.
Oh, okay, I get it now. I wasn't making a connection, but it's baby's poop joke.
Yes, because babies take big shits and big diapers.
So that wasn't too exciting of an event. Kind of never is.
They also did that's how they finished up the All-Star game too, right?
So yeah, I was going to get to the most interesting part of the 2 days was the actual All-Star game, where the National League blows a 6-0 lead going into like the 7th, I think.
That's kind of
tied 6-6. I didn't even know this was happening. I don't think half the players knew it was happening either. So when the 9th inning ends and it's tied, well, now it's time to go to, I think they call it a swing off. and I like this concept. I think for the All-Star game, this is perfect. This is a great idea. Before the game, the managers picked 3 guys each that would partake in this. They all get, I think, 3 pitches to hit as many home runs as they can, or 3 swings to hit as many home runs as they can. And even that was pretty cool. It would have been better. You could tell by the guys that were picked that the managers knew, because I think one thing people might not know about the MLB All-Star game is that a lot of players, especially the more expensive players, whenever they're pulled in the first or second inning, they're immediately headed to the airport.
As one would.
To get a break, because they're missing out on a break by being there for 2 days. But so it wasn't the most exciting guys for either team, but the National League ends up getting it. The last American League swing, I think it hit off the top of the wall and came back in, so it really came down to like the last one. I think it's a fun idea.
So how many innings in a regular game do you need to see before you're ready for them to just whip that one out?
Oh, none. I want all the innings in a regular season game. But I'm
not even talking about playoffs. I'm not even talking about playoffs.
I know. I'm a psycho. I would take an 18-inning game. I'd love it.
No, once you get past 12, I want you to bust that bitch out.
And then obviously, if it's a work night, I might feel a little differently, or I might just leave.
No, I think this is endangering athletes. This is nonsense. I think you need to go out there.
I'm not asking them to skate for 10 hours.
No, they need to go decide their lives right then and there.
No, and I think
move on with their days.
I don't think extra innings has really ever been that big of a problem for baseball, because it usually isn't that. But they've already basically fixed it with the runner on second rule.
That is true, yeah.
Which I don't like it. I hate that rule, but I think
does it start immediately?
There aren't in the 10th, yeah. There aren't too many games where that go past the 11th inning anymore. Usually that runner makes that big of a difference.
Good.
So.
Then that's all that matters to me, because honestly, I think it's cute and funny in the postseason because it matters a lot, and it's just a never-ending slog, and it's kind of funny. And it really tests the baseball nerd theories. But in the regular season, I need to wrap that shit up sign.
No, I'm still the 7-year-old baseball fan at heart most of the time. So I just want more. I want as much of it as I can get. Especially, I don't know.
I would hate to see the NBA go to one shot ends it.
Oh God, golden bucket.
But golden bucket might, I don't know, but
you gotta make it
I could live a golden bucket after
you pick
2
5
overtime.
guys, and it ends when all 5 guys from one team have made 1 bucket. I think something like that might.
I think I could go with golden bucket after 2 overtimes. Here's why: because there's 5-minute overtimes. It's just enough time, if you watch enough basketball, to sort of mimic each other. So if you're truly matched up, it's very easy to get into a second overtime in basketball. Sometimes a third and a fourth, because it can just be a possession-to-possession thing. There's only 2 or 3 possessions in the 5 minutes, whatever. And each team almost always gets an equal amount of possessions. And so I think in the regular season, I probably would go for it. Because honestly, the NBA has a bad problem of once they get into an overtime, almost triggering 2 to 3 just because of that programming.
I don't think it happens often enough for it's an actual problem.
Well, I think as many as the guys are playing, honestly, by the time it gets to 2, I wish coaches would just coach themselves out of it, because they know it's coming too. I know that people want to say win all the games you can win, but at the same time, when you're in a rigorous regular season schedule, adding extra minutes, innings, plays to your team is arguably not a great call if it really doesn't matter enough. Like if you can really, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you can afford 1 or 2 losses. NFL is probably the only exception where everything always matters more for the most part.
Yeah, just by numbers. But anyways, I thought it was fun. I think it's a great way for the All-Star game to handle it, especially because they did the thing where in like 2002 or whatever, there was the tie at the end of however many innings. Bud Selig was just like, we're done. And then everyone was mad. So then for a bunch of years, they're like, okay, we'll make it through the All-Star game, decides who has home field advantage for the World Series, which screwed us potentially, even though we helped a bunch of other teams, but they got rid of that. So I like this as a middle ground.
Yeah, no, it is the ultimate forum to be playing around with.
And I think one thing I heard that's like the only reason it's like the reason why a shootout in hockey is okay to do in a game versus what this would be in like a regular season game is that's still closely mimicking an actual part of the game. Like that could happen a one-on-one like that. And also the goalie's trying to stop you, whereas in this, the pitcher's trying to let you hit a home run.
Right.
But anyways, I thought it was fun. One other note would be that the Rangers did go ahead and pay Nate Eovaldi his $100,000 bonus as if he made the game, because he's numbers-wise, he's the best pitcher in baseball. He's just a few innings short of what they call qualifying.
MLB's frauds.
So it hurts him long-term if for whatever reason in his Hall of Fame debate, they're like, ooh, didn't get enough All-Star appearances, which kind of sucks, especially in a league where they force every team to have one representative, which keeps someone out that probably deserves it more. So long term, it could hurt him that way, but at least the Rangers gave him the bonus because he definitely earned that.
Was it just DeGrom?
DeGrom was the only one we got that made it in, but he was like, I'm not going to make it.
Right.
And Uvalde wouldn't have been able to pitch either, I
Right.
don't think. But yeah, it's kind of a weird situation.
Well,
Well, like I said, at least good on the Rangers for paying him. I don't know how that works as far as their tax apron stuff, but I guess they weren't worried about that 100,000.
yeah. It's not going elsewhere now.
And then, yeah, we'll have the trade deadline talk probably next week after they play some games. They're currently 3
Yeah, you
out.
did mention that they won a series again, or didn't mention they won a series against Houston. So nice.
Yeah, they ended the pre-All-Star break looking a lot better. They're starting to average more runs, blah, blah, blah. This is the month where we decide if this season is competitive or not. So I think that's probably going to be it for baseball, which will get us into our little halftime, I think, right? Yeah. Yeah, so hopefully Josh Young can come back and actually remember how to swing a baseball bat again. And on that note, we'll go to the second half. Oh, shit. And on